Only David, another David. Clearly, I am just with Davids this morning. David Rukasi will be joining us on the conversation. Now, as it stands, as of this morning, in one of the leading dailies, we do have that pastors have rejected the government policy on religion that will set to check the faith-based centers and institutions within the country by making sure, first and foremost, they are registered. For those that would like to be a part of it and be maybe a pastor, a church planter, you will need to have a theology degree, and also the fact that these institutions will have to have their own accounts. Now, just to make sure that in case you missed this, you need to take a look at this story, because for the government to come and say this, and we have pastors saying, no, we will not let this happen because this will stop and will curb the spread of the gospel within the country, Uganda, which motto is, for God and my country.
Lately, there has been a rise of false preachers who stage bogus miracles with the intention of wooing and cheating their flock. Today, a number of Pentecostal faith leaders gathered in Kampala to brainstorm on the proposal. The born-again church leaders describe the move as appalling and wanting.
So you cannot put propagate into something that you cannot guide.
Western egamba no.
Western is saying
Under the new policy, all clerics will be required to obtain formal theological training and also a certificate from a recognized institution. This they objected to.
It's not government's duty to streamline those issues. These are theological issues. These are doctrinal issues. The government knows nothing about our doctrine. If they had known our doctrine, they wouldn't have registered Chibwetiri.
It is evident that more academic qualification cannot stop one from committing crimes.
According to the policy document, a number of stakeholders, including the Anglican Church, Roman Catholic Church, the Orthodox Church, Interreligious Council of Uganda, judges and members of parliament, among others, were consulted.
What I know is that 3 years ago, the government embarked on a project to try and streamline religious issues in this country. And this is not just for the Pentecostals and Evangelicals. This is for the entire spectrum. All faiths are included.
In their resolution, the born-again church leaders agreed to ask President Museveni to sack Lokodo.
We request that His Excellency the President considers to transfer Honorable Father Simon Lokodo.
Our efforts to sound out the ethics minister Simon Lokodo did not yield fruit.
I'm requesting, can we do the interview on phone?
Not now. I'm busy.
you say yourself.
Ivan Chimuchgozi, NTV.
Now, to talk furthermore on this and expand, it is the one and only Andrew Hassan in this story, Pastor David Kiganda. You're most welcome to NTV. And I think we should all listen to this carefully, because as it stands, for you as the leaders to say that perhaps you need to take out and ask for the sacking of the state minister, Father Lokodo, that seems to be something huge. Where is this coming from?
It's not because we hate him. We don't have anything in the background that would make us to hate him, but I think it's a consideration that even in courts of law, we need to get to be realized that the judge in the case maybe is a relative to the accused or a friend to the plaintiff. Then one of the party can consider to request that judge to get out of that case.
So that's what you think.
Father Lokodo is a religious leader.
Okay.
By the title father, that makes him a trained Roman Catholic father who cannot really be the right person to be on top of this, because he has got an interest. He's likely to be a victim of religious biasness. How is he going to run away from that? It becomes so complicated when you ask one of the beverage companies to regulate another. It's like you're asking Coca-Cola to register Reham, register Pepsi Cola, and Kitty Soda. I mean, the others become very uncomfortable. They say, hey, how are you going to be the one? You're our competitor. Yes. How are you going to regulate us? How are you going to register us? So we are all aware that the Roman Catholic Church for a very long time look at us as competitors. And at one time, His Excellency has mentioned this a lot of times, that when he came into power in 1986, he was contacted by some religious leaders, and all what they were asking him was to find a way of get rid of the Pentecostals, because they were giving them a lot of headache. They are taking a lot of their people, and they were becoming very uncomfortable with them. So that was their request, until the president told them, you know what, we can't do things that way. Let us allow them to exist. If God doesn't want them to be, God himself will get rid of them. And that is how the Pentecostal church survived up to now. Now here we are today, either by lobbying or by any good chance from their side, or I mean on their part, their priest happened to be now the priest. Okay, there are two issues here. One, I believe, apparently as I'm speaking now, the churches are not registered under Lokodo's ministry, apparently. All the churches you see, they are either registered with Minister of Lands, especially the Roman Catholic Church is still under there, under the arrangement of trusteeship. Then most of the Pentecostals are registered under Minister of Justice, and a few others are still with Ministry of Internal Affairs under the NGO arrangement. It's not anywhere that there is any church apparently that is registered under Minister of Ethics and Integrity. I believe what is going on, the kind of discussion and the consideration and the lobbying that is going on, they are trying to see, can we get all the churches and put them under the Minister of Ethics and Integrity? Yes, while that is still a dialogue, the person who is there is already threatening us. It's like a woman is trying to get married to your father, but he's vowing
when she comes in,
that when I come in, I'm going to show you who I am.
Okay,
would you feel comfortable?
No, but Pastor, just to put it on the side of away from conflict of interest in regards to Father Lokodo. If we look at it in this state, Uganda is not the only country that in 2018 considered this. The fact is that also in 2018, we had Rwanda consider the same and actually pass this as a law. Why? Because they were protecting the innocent folk there from the spiritually greedy, let's put it this way, spiritually greedy pastors, as they claim to be, because we have a very hungry and growing thirsty folk. They need God. They're looking and seeking for God. And that is what Rwanda was coming through, because the same things that are happening and trying to take effect in Uganda through this policy have been tried to be put in Rwanda, also in Kenya and in South Africa as well. So would you believe that perhaps the folk need to be protected?
Well, I really don't think that Rwanda should be our role model. I think they have more to copy from us than us copying from them.
Please, do tell us.
Okay.
I would think so. And we are Uganda and they are Rwanda. That is also another fact. Maybe what we are doing today, that is what the Rwanda, or these pastors, maybe that's what they failed to do, and that's why they fell victim of such. That is not a good story in any country. That's not a good story, and we should not take pride into such. And we are still praying for them. Many of them, they have taken a refugee in parts of the western parts of the country. There could be even some other issues that you may not even know. You know, they could be even on a hidden agenda. Nobody has interviewed them. tell exactly what exactly happened. I believe, I understand the same was tried in Kenya, like you're saying, but they withdrew from that. That is the update that I had, because it's not a good thing for any country. Moreover, that sound is a very big contradiction as far as the Constitution is concerned, because you cannot guarantee a society, okay, with freedom of worship, and then you wake up one morning and say, by the way, before you worship, this is what you have to do. We don't have any outcry from our people that comes to us to worship. Nobody is forced to come to us. Okay, no, have you ever been forced to go to church?
No, I have not.
You go there by your own will. Whatever you offer there, whatever you do there, that's none of nobody's business. Okay, so and also, if there is any cited tendencies of crime in our churches, okay, we may not deny, because this happens everywhere. Okay, almost in every industry, you're going to cite unfairness, whether it's a political industry, whether it's you go in the police, you'll still find the fake policeman there. You go in politics, you'll find the fake politician. You go in every media, you just line up a media conference there, and among the 20 journalists there, 5 of them will be fake. Are you going to make a new laws? Are you going to make a new laws to rectify that?
As much as I do agree with you that it's not government's duty to regulate churches, but it's the government's duty to protect us, the people. And I know you agree with me. We've had the discussion on taxes, on taxing churches and religious leaders, and I know you agree with me. At some point in this country, you have seen religious leaders collect huge sums of money and spend them with no sense of responsibility, of accountability to us, the people that are openly giving this money to contribute to the growth of the church, to the gospel being spread around. So at some point, the government has to come in and protect us from a few individual pastors and religious leaders that are, let me call it selfish needs, are going selfishly to spend these earnings and do things that are leaving the flock that believe in you thinking, do these guys really care about us? Are we really spreading the gospel, or are we making them rich?
Okay, there are 2 or 3 things to look into here. I'm just wondering who is trying to protect who. You are an adult that comes to church, but before you make any noise, government is making noise on your behalf. I think before government tells me that I'm stealing from you, government should stop you from coming. Then you don't come to church. That's the best way of protecting you. Because you give whatever you give, either out of what you have already benefited from the church, you give it out of love, okay, and you say, here is my offering, here is my tithe. You actually give a tithe. Tithe is 10% of what God has already given to you. Okay, you come to church and they pray for you and you get 10,000. Then you offer 10, that is what? Out of 10,000 you offer
1,000.
1,000. Yes. So you've kept your 9,000. Yes. So you're still worried about the 1,000 you have given in church, and you want accountability out of that. Maybe talk to the leader and ask him to give you the accountability if that is your wish.
But Pastor, I'm sorry, but we are adults. Yes, you say we are adults, and I know you have children. If you raise your young man, your lady goes out there, finds a man, it doesn't stop you from telling that man, that adult or that lady, that the man you're bringing home, I don't think you should bring him home. Yes, they are an adult, but that doesn't stop you as a parent, as a father, from telling your adult child that I don't think this is right.
But who do you tell now? You tell the man that want to marry your daughter, or you tell your daughter?
Either way, whoever you tell, they're both adults. No. You should let them decide for themselves.
My opinion is, if government is so much concerned about what you give, and you're also uncomfortable giving it to church, let the government stop you from coming. Nobody has forced you to come to church.
But then I will just say this, Pastor.
Has anybody forced you to come to church?
No one has, but what happens within church? Because we have known about the fact that there's commercialization within the church as it stands, that there are tokens that are being asked for. If anyone remembers Holy Rice,
Yeah.
a number of people knew that Holy Rice was not right. A number of people came out and said this shouldn't be happening in church. But there were individuals that were actually purchasing this Holy Rice. Why? Because they were spiritually hungry. They were spiritually thirsty. They were looking for what could have been an answer to maybe something that was going on in their lives, and they told them this token, if you buy it, will help. This has happened in South Africa. We have had stories of people who have actually taken jik, who have been sprayed doom. Things have happened to their health because they were looking, maybe it has actually been commercialized. And if a government is saying they're going to put rules within the freedom of worship to protect these folk that can't actually see this, where is the problem in that?
Okay, two things. Let's start with Holy Rice. If Holy Rice is a problem, and it is sold, and their concern is that it has been sold, let the URA contact the gentleman who has made a sale and ask him for a tax.
But it shouldn't be the money they're looking for, Pastor. It's not the money they're looking for.
No,
they're looking to protect the folk, because honestly, if people are blinded and can't see the right,
the question is why now? The Roman Catholic Church has been here for close to 200 years.
Yes, it has.
They have sold rosaries. That is a religious item. Nobody has ever complained. They have sold scapulary. Nobody has ever complained. They have sold holy waters. Nobody has ever complained. They charge money from the family to pray for a deceased who has died already, that the prayers that they're going to make will help the other guy to make it to heaven. Nobody has ever. Is that not exploitation? Why now that it is only now the Pentecostals, they are saying, they are doing it. Why haven't they ever looked into that? Because it has been here for more than 100 years.
Yes, it has, and I'll agree with you.
I'm not saying that selling Holy Rice is a good thing, but if I'm trying to get out of my box and look at it as a wider scope, why that one is a problem and the other is not a problem?
But so look at it this way. That could be a problem because of this. The rosary has never harmed anyone when it's placed on their body.
And the rest has harmed somebody?
In situations where we've had people drink drinks that have been concocted for different, perhaps they're telling them that this will help you heal this. The likes of the holy water. Yes? People, holy water, you get to shower it, it is sprinkled on you. But never do they tell you to drink it. And that is where the thing is. They're not, we're not attacking in any way. I do not believe they're attacking perhaps the Pentecostal church. I think what they're trying to curb, and perhaps you let me know, perhaps do you believe that there could be people that are masquerading within the Pentecostal churches there with their own selfish reasons? Because if that's happening, they're not there to spread the word, but they're there to get their own benefits.
And that, if at all it happens, it does not necessitate to create a new law. We have enough laws in this country that can curb down all those kind of things. It's like you tell me that because the king of Rwenzururu has involved himself in a crime, then you need to enact a new law that will arrest kings. Do you need that?
No, but that means
No. Was he not charged?
He was.
Did we need a new law? Did we need a new law to arrest and accuse a king? It's within the means that is already available. That's what we are saying. If any pastor has done any wrong thing, use the existing law. The pastor has raped somebody, go for it. The existing laws can still deal with that. You don't need a new law. We have made a lot of laws that are not helping this country, and yet they cost us a lot of money to make. But after making them, you find that the guys who presented the budget of the process, they have already benefited whatever they want to benefit, but the law has not helped in any way.
Pastor, allow me to interject a bit. Comparisons aside,
but I wanted you to say something about what he said.
Yes.
About the health issues in the
rice and
the drinks that people drink. If that is a concern, let Minister of Health investigate that.
Yeah.
Let Minister of Health investigate that. And if they find that something is hazardous in those kind of stuff, drinks and what, let them come in.
But how will they know?
And let them make a report that the water is hazardous, and let them deal with that. The laws will deal with that. Number two, but still as they are doing it, it shouldn't only be the Pentecostals that should be put on a spotlight. I think the traditional religion has been here for a long time, and there is a lot that are done which we are still questioning.
Yes.
Why only Pentecostals? You have seen the waters in Namugongo, Martha's Shrine. Do those waters have any certificate from the National Bureau of Standards? Don't people draw it and take it home and drink it? How sure it is safe water? Many other hazardous hazardous stuff. Do you approve, if you are concerned, and it's not only the Pentecost that you should look at, if in your opinion, do you think it's a good thing to make somebody to walk from Mutukula to Namugongo by foot? Answer my question.
No, this is this.
If you say, brother,
bodies, this is some people's bodies. These are people's
somebody's
choices.
what?
These are people's choices, and we're going to go with one thing. No, Pastor.
Somebody's body.
Yes, it
but
is
you are a government.
No.
You are a government. You are here to protect the people.
If it has gone back, and that is where, because as this states, this policy states that it is all for faith, all faith-based institutions. Not only are they looking at just one, which is the Pentecostals, they're looking at the Roman Catholics, they're looking at the Muslims.
But you are not answering my question.
No, and I'm going to it. Yes? One thing that may be happening in the Pentecostals may not be happening in the Anglicans. And if there's something that perhaps you might raise and say, this needs to be stopped in this area, and people also come out and say it needs to be stopped, and it's a general consensus, yes. Because no one has come out so far to state that this walking has harmed them. And if so, we have seen ambulances always on these roads of late when these people are making the pilgrim. So I do not understand how it goes to this, because Pastor, what I want us to know is that there's so many people within the church that are being preyed on, and perhaps this is why the government is coming through. Shouldn't we protect these people? Why are we? Because if the pastor, I want to know, do you know of any members?
We need to, you are saying, I'm quoting you, we need to protect these people.
We need to protect them.
Fine. Why don't you start with protecting the people who walk from Guru to Namugongo? Start with those ones. They have been doing that for 100 years.
Yes, they have.
How sure are you that they don't drop on the way and die? How sure are you that after Namugongo, how sure are you that after Namugongo they get problems, health problem back home and they die? Have you ever investigated that?
No, we have had reports and no one is denying it. And even when you take it to the traditional healers, there has been a bill that they're trying to make sure that these people are actually checked. Yes? In each and every situation, there are checks and measures for a reason. Yes? And maybe there are checks and measures and balances everywhere that need to be put in.
Pastor, I want to take this conversation away from comparisons and competition.
Yes.
Pastor, are you telling me
that is, when you do that, that's the only time you are fair?
Yes, I want to take it away from comparisons, because it looks like we're going back and forth on these guys are doing this. Why are you coming after us for doing this?
You're asking why now?
Why not then?
Why not then? Why now?
I want us to take
why us? Why not then?
Pastor, I want us to take this conversation away from that, and I want us to agree on one thing. Do you believe that with this kind of because we've had our local witch doctors on the villages, and they never used to collect these sums of money. We had the churches before, they never used to collect these sums of money. Now we have religious leaders in one sect that are collecting huge sums of money. Do you believe that they should spend it without any sense of responsibility and accountability, and we should just go on with that? Is that what you're saying, that we should see pastors buying their girlfriends expensive cars and housings and throwing lavish parties and buying themselves Range Rovers and putting personalized plates on them without any sense of responsibility to their flock and accountability to that?
I believe every church has got an administration in place. Every sensible church, especially those that are been around for some time, they have structures in place. they have administration, they have got accounts, and they submit books. They do books of accounts.
So we can't depend on these people. Every single musician, every single person has a manager. Those are the same people that steal their social media platforms and take them away. The people who are managing you are doing a good job because that's what you want, but they have their selfish needs as well. So we can't trust those people with the whole huge flock of people who are following. We need the government to come in and help us and say,
help
here, the flock, we the citizens, we the citizens.
Are you uncomfortable?
Yes, clearly we are uncomfortable.
Why do you go there?
It's not about why I got there.
No, you are uncomfortable
so
about something. It's like I'm uncomfortable to be in NTV. Why do I come?
So what I'm trying to understand, Pastor, is this. Pastor, you're clearly saying that as it stands, if you go into a church, it is your choice to make. Yes? If you do not like it there,
don't go.
Leave.
Don't go.
But this is when you see there are a number of times that pastors have a lot of power, and I don't know if you can, and religious leaders as a whole, that they will say one thing and we will go with it. Yes? Do you agree? That they have a higher influence when it comes to the people. So there are a number of times people are hoodwinked because of the influence they have over these people, the powers
and
they have.
You want to control that influence.
It needs to be checked. Do you agree? Or do you not agree with the fact that perhaps there needs to be a check in this?
Well, I really don't know how they're going to do that because, first of all, the flock, which is you,
yes,
and
you as well sometimes,
comes to this church voluntarily, for the lack of a better word. It is their choice to come, and many of these members do appreciate their pastors and what they are doing. They are able to see that well, last year we didn't have this, but because of the monies that we have given, our pastor and our church has been able to do this, which should actually be appreciated first before we are accused. Because I don't think government has ever given us any money to do what we are doing. And yet when you look into it, it's a big contribution to the growth of this country and to the well-being of the country. I think before we are accused, you know, sometimes before you ask somebody for an accountability, you need to know how much did you give to him.
But how will we?
Do you understand my point?
If I give you 50,000, yes, David perhaps gives another 100,000. David will never know that I gave 50,000, right? Because I never put it. I put it in an envelope and put it in the offertory bag.
What I'm saying,
it's never known.
What I'm saying, before government is concerned about accountability in the churches, government need to know how much has he ever donated to those churches
before he comes to try and
before you come and ask how much did you get, how much did you give me. Let me tell you, many of these churches, the way they start, and many of these pastors, how they start the church, nobody even knows where they get the resources from. What if you come for an accountability and the pastor tells you that, well, I am in debts with the bank, okay, I have an uncleared loan of 4 billion. Are you going to contribute?
No, but then...
No, you get my point. What if some of them are even debts? Because you don't know how they started. But you don't know how they got the money to buy the land where they are, to build that building, to buy the equipment, so you don't know.
But shouldn't actually that be the issue there? Because if you say that someone started a church on a debt, yes, aren't they going to use the fork to pay back that debt?
And is that fair?
In regards to the offertory that is given in the tithe.
We can't go with the saying that...
What have you just said? What have you just said? Say it again.
What if, yes, you say, or perhaps they don't state where the money has come from, yes, and maybe it is a debt as you have given in that example. Yes, and then this pastor is going to, because they're now saying it's a money-making scheme, it's no longer church.
He's under pressure to pay back this loan.
So wouldn't he use the offertory and the tithe to actually pay back the debt? Is that even a crime? Would that be a crime in the church?
Is that be a crime?
Yes, would that be a crime?
When the pastor uses the collection to pay a debt, are you concerned about that?
Yes, I'm asking, would it be a crime?
Wouldn't.
Would it? Is it a crime?
I don't think it would. First of all, you look into the services the church offer to the people, and that is wash. You may need first of all, you may need land or a building, okay, to do whatever you're doing, and it's a service to the people, which service is on demand, the people want it, but you may realize that maybe you need to rent a building. Maybe you need to buy land. I mean, for you to be able to offer that services to the people, you may need a facility first, okay? But getting it, maybe you may need a loan, okay? And the people that you serve, maybe they're willing to contribute. Maybe in bits, okay? Now, do you see any problem there if any pastor happen to do that? Because even the government of Uganda, for it to give you the services, give you, sometimes it realizes that they don't have enough funds, okay, to run your affairs and give you services. Then they go to the World Bank. Is that a crime?
No. They go to the World Bank after letting us know that we're going to be borrowing from here and there. Don't they usually
and that loan is approved?
Yes. So do you ever let the folk know? Because in this case, you'd have to let the folk know that you
we have a bank loan.
We have a loan,
service.
we need to, we are trying to build, we have borrowed, and the money is going to go to
pastors have done that a lot of times.
They have let them know.
Pastor, you still haven't answered my question. Do you feel that religious leaders should spend the money that they collect without any sense of accountability or responsibility to the flock?
Religious leaders.
I don't want to look at pastors. I don't want to look at fathers. Do you believe that
excuse me.
Yes.
Do you subscribe to any religion?
Yes, I do. Of course.
Which one is that?
I don't want to put myself in that spot.
Be genuine.
No, I don't.
Be honest
because I know what is going to happen. As soon as I tell you where I belong, now you know where to attack me from. I don't want this conversation to be about me and you.
Do you think it's a fair thing for you to know where I come from and I don't know where you come from?
Well, it's.
Do you think it's fair?
It's not fair because you are out there. You are pastor. I am not in any.
Okay, let's take an example.
That doesn't answer the question.
Let's take an example. Maybe you are a Catholic.
Let's go with that.
Or an Anglican.
Let's go with
or
that.
Or a Muslim.
Let's go with that.
Has your religious leader ever done what you are asking me to do?
I'm just saying, all religious leaders.
No.
Let us be accountable.
Have they ever told you where they got the money to build a centenary bank? Have they ever told you where they got the money to build the Lubaga Hospital? Have they ever told you how they got the money to buy all that village called in Zambia to own it? Have they ever told you?
So in other words, you're saying, let us get the money and collect it the best way we can, and let us spend it the way we can with no accountability or responsibility.
Just ask my question, because your concern is about how the Pentecostals run their affairs. But you are not concerned about how the traditional religions, how they have been running their affairs. That the Pentecostals you are accusing for being so rich, they haven't built a centenary bank before. They haven't built one yet. They don't own in Zambia village and all those hospitals yet. And nobody has ever come up to ask, where did they get all those monies? Nobody has ever even asked, how is our money, how was our money managed when you gave it? I think it's just biasness that is disturbing you guys. And you think we are so rich, but some of us we are even not. Because
there's no money. There's no money here for
some of us we are not even rich.
Okay.
I have been a pastor for the last 32 years. Okay? It would be very unfair for you to kuzimba kasajja ku mutima when you see me driving a Prado. Today, after 32 years, yes, it would actually be an insult
for you.
Yes.
For me, when you tell me you are so rich, how dare you are driving a Prado?
Do
you know the years I've been serving God? 32 years. So according to you, I am worth a Prado in 32 years.
But
imagine if I had done business, wouldn't I be one of the owners of the arcades in town in 32 years? So according to you, my brain does not work properly. That in 32 years,
all you have been able to achieve.
All what I have is the product. That's an insult to
Pastor,
okay,
if the services are for the people, instead of having one religious leader spend 20 million Uganda shillings a day for an event here in Kampala, I'll call it an event because that's what it looks like. If the services are for the people, you as religious leaders, why don't you come together and agree that these services are for the people, why are we spending 20 million Uganda shillings on one event in the center of Kampala and not use this 20 million to send Pastor Kiganda to Busoga, to send Pastor someone else to Masindi and spread the gospel, other than make it look like the gospel is rich?
What do you exactly mean when you say spending 20 million?
We know the events.
Is it on breakfast? Is it on
the organization of
what?
I don't want to pick out on a particular event.
Pick up one event, for instance. Is it a crusade?
Is it a seminar?
It
happens every week, conference? So we can't call it. We can't call it a crusade.
No, give me an example. I really want to know.
I'll give you an example, quite openly. Pastor Elvis Mbonyi, right here on Lugogo. There we go. You have seen that. If you have done an event before, you know how much it costs to put up that kind of arrangement. That happens every single week. That is a lot of money spent on one event every single week. If these services are for the people,
excuse me, do you have a problem with that?
I have a problem with it. If the services are for the people, why are you spending that huge sum of money
on
just a selected few when you can spread the gospel with that little money?
Are you not a victim of jealousy?
Not really.
Is it biasness?
Why would I be?
Excuse me. What if his members and the type of the class of his members are able to afford that bill? What if?
Okay. So it's about what we can afford.
How much do you think to organize a Matters Day? How much do you think it takes?
Well,
how much do you think? That is 500 million for an event of one day. Why haven't you ever complained?
I'm going to complain next time.
Well, as it stands right now, with the growing number of charges and churches going up within Uganda, it seems like perhaps there needs to be regulation as it stands from within the government. And not only is it going to be happening for the churches, the Pentecostal churches, but also for the entire faith-based religions. So whatever religion it might be, there will be a check coming up, and there are simply some regulations that the government is putting in place. Right now, the Pentecostal churches are saying, no, we will not go with this. We have had Pastor Kiganda joining us today morning. Thank you so much. And as it stands, you other folk, perhaps you need to be more keen with the churches you go to. According to him, you have the right to leave one if you do not feel that is where you want to be. NTV Morning at NTV continues.